Japan's bold move has sparked a dramatic showdown between the US and China. Did Japan just pick a side, leaving the US in shock and China celebrating? Japan has made a surprising move by getting closer to China, causing big worries in the US. Recent reports from Bloomberg and Reuters show this major shift. Japan is boosting its economic and diplomatic ties with China, even though Chinese media has criticized Japan for being two-faced. This isn't just politics, it's a bold strategy that could change global power. Japan usually balances its relations with both the US and China. But now, Japan's closer ties with China signal a big change. Japan has one of the world's largest economies and is a tech powerhouse. By getting closer to China, Japan could change trade routes, military partnerships, and economic plans. The US, Japan's longtime ally, now has to rethink its strategy in Asia. This could change the balance of power. By partnering with China, Japan might distance itself from the US. This could impact trade, military plans, and everyday life for millions. Global trade could be shaken, with possible disruptions in supply chains and more competition in technology. Japan's move could also lead other countries in the region to reconsider their alliances, causing a big shift in global power. Why did Japan make this move now? With the US economy struggling, Biden losing support, and Trump on trial, what does this mean for our future? Japan's decision to get closer to China is happening at a very tense time. The US is at one of its weakest points, with rising prices and massive debt causing people to distrust the US dollar. President Biden is losing support, and former President Trump is facing legal troubles, adding to the chaos. Iran is gaining power. Ukraine is struggling in its conflict, and huge amounts of American taxpayer money are being sent to the Middle East and Ukraine. As of June 2024, the U.S. has sent $175 billion to Ukraine and billions more to various Middle Eastern countries. Amidst this turmoil, Japan's move to team up with China is a bold strategy. This could mean a big shift away from its longtime ally, the U.S., and change the global power dynamics. This new partnership could change everything. For years, Japan has been a strong ally of the US, helping to keep American influence strong in Asia. Now, by getting closer to China, Japan could reshape trade deals, military alliances, and economic plans. Other countries might also rethink their alliances, potentially weakening US power in Asia. The economic stakes are huge. Japan and China working together could create new trade routes and economic policies that sideline the US, shaking up global markets. Plus, with the BRICS group, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa gaining more power, this new Japan-China team-up could boost BRICS even more, challenging Western dominance and possibly leading to a new world order. What will the US do in response to Japan's bold move? The world is holding its breath as the US scrambles to respond to Japan's shocking alliance with China. This unexpected move has sent shockwaves through Washington, with CNN reporting on June 15, 2024, that US officials are in a state of alarm. Members of Congress and the Biden administration are urgently trying to figure out how to counteract this seismic shift. Al Jazeera highlighted on June 17, 2024, the palpable sense of urgency and panic within the U.S. government. The timing couldn't be worse, with the U.S. presidential election looming and the administration under immense pressure to demonstrate strength and decisive action. The U.S. is already grappling with rising inflation, a ballooning national debt, and deep political divisions. These internal crises are severely undermining the US's ability to project power on the global stage. The stakes are sky high. Japan's closer ties with China could upend global trade routes and economic agreements, sidelining the U.S. in key markets. This new partnership also bolsters the BRICS alliance, now implicitly supported by Japan, posing a direct threat to Western dominance. The U.S. has long relied on its military bases in Japan, particularly in Okinawa, to assert its influence in Asia. Losing sway over Japan could severely weaken its strategic military positioning in the region. As countries worldwide rethink their alliances, the U.S. faces the daunting task of navigating a rapidly shifting geopolitical landscape to maintain its leadership role and counter the surging power of China and Japan. Is Japan's economy in such dire straits that they need to team up with China to survive? Do you like this video? What are you waiting for? Smash that like button and subscribe to become our ducklings. Japan's decision to ally with China has shocked the world and raised concerns about its economy. The Japanese economy has been struggling for decades. Since the 1990s, Japan's GDP growth has been very low, averaging only 1 to 2% per year. The industrial sector, which makes up 28.8% of its GDP, is having a hard time keeping up with global competition. According to the World Bank, the COVID-19 pandemic has further exacerbated these issues. The pandemic hit Japan hard, causing a significant drop in economic activity and leading to increased unemployment and business closures. The service sector, which accounts for 69.9% of Japan's GDP, was particularly affected, with tourism and hospitality industries experiencing severe downturns. Japan also has the highest debt-to-GDP ratio in the world at 255.2%, as highlighted in a Deloitte report. Despite efforts to boost wages, real wages have actually gone down, with December 2023 wages 4.3% lower than in December 2019, according to The Edge. Compounding these challenges is Japan's aging population. Nearly 30% of its population is aged 65 and older, totaling around 36.2 million people. This demographic shift is straining the country's social security and healthcare systems, making economic recovery even more difficult. People in Japan are struggling. The pressure to work long hours with little work-life balance is taking a heavy toll on families. Parents are missing precious moments with their children, and the stress of financial instability is leading to an increase in suicide rates. The sight of exhausted commuters sleeping on trains, the reports of karoshi, death by overwork, and the relentless pursuit of a better standard of living paint a stark picture of the current situation. The pandemic has only made things worse. Many have lost jobs, businesses have shut down, and the economic recovery has been slow. The Japanese government is desperate to find a solution. By partnering with China, Japan hopes to unlock new economic opportunities and provide relief for its citizens. This alliance could open access to a vast market, potentially boosting Japan's economy and providing much-needed jobs and income. However, this decision also comes with significant risks. Straining relationships with longtime allies like the U.S. could lead to trade disruptions and weaken military agreements that have been in place for decades. Why is Japan so desperate for this military agreement with the U.S.? What does this mean for their future? Japan's decision to seek a closer alliance with China has raised many questions, especially regarding its existing military agreements with the U.S. For decades, the U.S.-Japan military alliance has been a cornerstone of Japan's national security. This alliance is crucial for Japan, given its geographical location and the growing threats in the region. After losing World War II, Japan was prohibited from maintaining a traditional military force. Instead, it established the Self-Defense Forces, SDF, with a strictly defensive mandate. In return, the U.S. committed to protecting Japan through the Treaty of Mutual Cooperation and Security, which has been in place since 1960. The U.S. military presence in Japan particularly in Okinawa, has been a key deterrent against regional threats such as North Korea's missile program and China's growing military assertiveness. The American bases in Japan house thousands of U.S. troops and advanced military equipment, providing a security umbrella that Japan relies on. Without this alliance, Japan would have to significantly increase its own defense spending, which is already constrained by its economic struggles. The potential weakening of this military alliance due to Japan's closer ties with China could leave Japan vulnerable to regional threats. This situation puts Japan in a delicate position, balancing its desperate need for economic recovery with the necessity of maintaining a strong defense posture. Japan is not the only country with such an arrangement with the U.S. Saudi Arabia, one of the US's closest allies in the Middle East, has a similar agreement known as the Petrodollar Agreement. However, there's chaos brewing, suggesting that Saudi might not renew this agreement. Unlike Japan, if Saudi ditches this agreement, it could cause massive economic turmoil for the U.S. Watch this video and I'll see you there.